Alright, yeah, welcome back to the third installment of SuperMadLad Plays the Eldraine Courtside Brawl. So last time we played the Knight's Charge deck, did pretty well. It's probably my favourite deck so far, in just terms of how it's played. It's very sweet. But today we're going to be playing the Savage Hunter list. So this is the Jund Legend, Corvold Fae-cursed King. 5 mana for a 4/4 with flying. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you sacrifice another permanent. And whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Corvold and draw a card. So it's kind of a mid-range value, almost a little bit all-in on Corvold, kind of, to rely on your damage in that sense. You're going to be able to make this dude real big. And yeah, the whole deck just revolves around things dying, things being sacrificed. You can use food tokens, which, like Witch's Oven gets to do. It gets to sacrifice, trigger Corvold, and it makes a food token, which you can then sacrifice as well to pump up Corvold again. So yeah, there's a lot of sacrifice synergy things in here. Creator Maker sacrifices itself. Priest of the Forgotten Gods sacks creatures to do stuff. There's a few interesting choices in here, as always. Krenko is he's one hell of a drug. I'm just going to leave it at that. But yeah, for the most part, there's a lot of sacrifice, lots of like making tokens, things that you don't really mind losing. Even our Bake into a Pie removal here creates a token that you can use to sacrifice as well. It should be noted that when you attack, you just sacrifice a permanent in general, so a food token is perfect. It's better than hitting one of your lands. But yeah, not too much to go into on this one. Moldavine Reclamation, when a creature dies, gain 1 life, draw a card. So we should be keeping our hand relatively full if we can keep at it, and hopefully do some good stuff. But yeah, let's just get into the deck, I guess. There's nothing particularly interesting in the mana base, except for Evolving Wilds sacrifices, so that triggers Corvold, as well as the Cryptic Caves as well, to draw a card, sacrifices itself. But yeah, let's just play the deck, see how it functions, see if we can win some games. Let's go. Alrighty then, we're in. We got the Arcane Signet on 2 with the mana base to justify it. I don't think we want to put Witch's Oven in on turn 1, because it just revolves around us shocking ourselves and then playing a tap land on 2, which is less than ideal. But yeah, this hand seems relatively low to the curve. I would like maybe a 3rd land, but beggars can't be choosers and all that. I'm sure we won't struggle nonetheless. We're going up against Sir Gwyn, so the Knight Equipment deck. I'm sure most of you know what it's all about by now. If you haven't, check out my last Brawl video. It's a doozy. Alright. What do we got on 2? This deck is... Our opponent's deck is actually capable of playing plenty of things right now. They're just going to lead off with a 2/1 for 2, which is fair. I guess we'll go with Swamp, Arcane Signet, and that actually allows us to play down Witch's Oven as well. Again, it's not going to be that useful until after we start getting creatures to sacrifice on it. And my worry is that we don't really have the creature sacrifice available to us all that much. But we are possibly able to Corvold turn after next, so that's going to be okay. Bake into a Pie. Well, that gives us some food tokens to sacrifice, but unfortunately, food tokens are not treasure, so that's a problem. And Pollenbright Druid can only really put a counter on Corvold, so I don't really like the inclusion of this card. I guess it could proliferate Angrath, and maybe if anything's been put counters on with Rhythm of the Wild, but it just seems a bit weak, honestly. Where are we going, though? Where are we going with this? Could do Priest of the Forgotten Gods, and then put down a creature, and then we can have an opportunity to sacrifice. I guess that's fine. Let's play Mask of Immolation. And yeah, I guess we just like pass. See what you can do. So Mask of Immolation does say we can sacrifice this creature to deal 1 damage to any target, so we can get rid of the Embereth Shield Breaker anytime we want. Might want to keep the creature around though, honestly. Yeah, just on first impressions, it feels like Priest doesn't really have the enablers that I would hope that it would. I think we just trade off here. Doesn't really have the enablers that I would hope it would. Pollen Bright just doesn't seem to do enough. Could this be the weakest deck of all? Well, there's Dreadhorde Invasion. So that's a thing. We could do Dreadhorde, Pollen Bright. Just kind of hate that though. But that's the most mana efficient play. I could also just like bake into a pie and make a food token. I wanted a land here, honestly. That's what I really wanted. I'm going to go with the Dreadhorde Invasion. And I think I'm just going to put Pollen Bright in. Stick a counter on the Priest. And pass him up. So I think I'm likely to just sacrifice the Pollen Bright Druid to the Priest of Forgotten Gods anyway. And that'll get us the mana for Korvold. So they are going to go with a 2-1 lifelinker. Solid, solid. They could have actually done Curry Favor for 1 mana and then played the Swordmaster. So a little bit of a missed opportunity there. I'm not going to block. And we are going to gain some stuff here. So we get to draw a card, they sacrifice, and we add 2 black mana, which gets us our Korvold down. It's a shame I couldn't play it and then do that, though. But it is what it is. Right. Any number of players. You will lose life. And yeah, we'll sacrifice. We could attack him first, but if they block, then I can't do this, which means I can't play Korvold. So, where do they go? I imagine they'll just get rid of the Smitten Swordmaster anyway, right? Seems like the weakest of them all. And then we get to draw a card, which means potentially we can just make our land drop for the turn. That would be lovely, so that if they have removal for Korvold, we're not just stranded. Which feels like it could definitely be the case. Yeah. Got rid of the thing I expected them to block with. And then we'll get Korvold down. Sacrificing Mask of Immolation? Yeah, I think it's Mask of Immolation. And we get to draw a card, have a 5/5 in play, and yeah, pass the turn. So, Witch's Oven we can activate at any time. If they are going to kill Korvold, we can sacrifice to make some food tokens, which can gain us some life. It looks like, yeah, he's gonna die, so let's just sacrifice him instead. Make 2 food tokens, and put him in the command zone. Ooh, we still get to draw a card. Nice. Alright. But I feel like we are a little bit too far behind, honestly. We have 4-5 mana to work with here. We could play Woodland Champion and Judith, maybe? That gives us something to do. Block in with our Dreadhorde token is an option. Yeah, let's play the Woodland Champion. I think we just play Judith. Just play Judith. Pump up our stuff. And yeah, let's get in for 3 with the Priest here, I think. We can always just block here anyway with our Dreadhorde token. And just pass the turn. We're not in a really good spot, to be honest. But at least we got food tokens to sacrifice to Korvold until they draw their Mortifies. A little bit more familiar with the removal in our opponent's deck now that I've played it. So they've got like D-Sparks, Mortifies, Single Combat as their board wipe. Bond of Discipline. Okay. Okay. Taking 4. Putting the pressure on. And we're losing 1 life there. Got our swamp, so we got 4, 5, 6. We could actually sacrifice maybe Woodland Champion and our Dreadhorde token to get Corvold out again. I like the idea of that, because then we get to basically wipe their board. So let's hit them for a metric ton. Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. Alright. Hit you for 2. Sacrifice. And actually, this one was a token, so we only get to 0.1 damage with the Judith. But that's fine. Gets rid of the Death Toucher. We get some mana, which we can use to sacrifice on Corvold. And just get rid of the food token. We might need the food token, honestly. I need the life gain. Maybe it's the Dreadhorde token. Could be Command the Dreadhorde. Honestly, at 4 life, it's probably gonna hurt us more than help us. So let's get that done. Mayhem Devil's pretty sweet. Let's get the Rugged Highlands down for the life gain, and pass the turn. Again, we can make 2 more food tokens if they try to kill Corvold. They can play their Sir Gwyn Commander now. I'm really hoping this is the point where we've stabilized. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Mayhem Devil and then sacrifice 2 treasure tokens to kill the Order of the Midnight. That'll pump Corvold up and hopefully make him big enough to block Sir Gwyn. Evolution Sage can proliferate, so let's go with Mayhem Devil. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, deal 1 damage to any target. So we're gonna gain... Oh, look at that! Look at that! That's cool. First time clicking on tokens. Alright, so +1/+1 on Corvold, and we will deal 1 damage to the Order of Midnight. Drawing a card, pumping up Corvold. Sack the food token, do it again. 1 to the Order. And now we can swing in with Corvold, and I think honestly we might even sacrifice our Mayhem Devil and Judith to make them sacrifice Gwyn. That'll pump up as well as deal some damage, so that's going to be pretty sweet. Sack a permanent, it's going to be... let's see. Witch's Oven's not going to do much good for me now. Let's get rid of Witch's Oven. 1 damage to you. Let's sacrifice you and you. Make you sacrifice your Sir Gwyn. Get the triggers on the stack. This is pretty sweet. I won't lie. It took a fair bit of setup. If our opponent could interact with us any more than they already have, then we would have definitely not done this crazy shenanigans. But 10/10 Corvold, we went all in on the card. They only have 1 mana left over, so there's nothing they can do to stop us here. And yeah, that's going to be the game as soon as they decide to sacrifice their commander. Come on, bruh. Click that commander. Click the commandeer, please. Just give it the old left click. Give it just give it a nice tap. Just tap it in. Tap, tap, taparoo. Come on. Come on. Tap you, Gwyn. Tap it. Tap it. I'll wait for the timer to do it for you. Oh, my opponent's a salty boy. Salty, salty boy. Well, they had the better start. We had the better finish. This is just... getting a bit of dry mouth from all this... from all this salt. Ooh, God. Too much sodium on my chips right now. On my fries, if you're American. Gotta translate sometimes. Yeah. Okay. It was fun. That was a fun game. You know, we drew many cards. That's kind of what I expected to happen with this Corvold deck, was to draw lots of cards, so we'd never stay empty-handed for too long at all. And that definitely happened. We ended up enabling Priest reasonably well, despite my indications that it probably wouldn't be enabled that much. That being said, though, the things that we sacrificed to enable it, that was quite the investment, you might say. But we invested, and our stocks paid out in the end. Victory. I believe that is the last win that I need for Brawl. But gosh darn, I'm going to keep playing Skynet Vanguard. And yet we get Order of Midnight, which is probably the worst of all the rewards, which makes it really interesting on 6. I would have probably, if I was Wizards, would have put something like Sir Conrad there. Or this Inspiring Veteran. The Night Lord seems very useful. Then again, I guess they're probably trying to front load it so that people don't have to get 6 wins. I'm not sure. Hopefully these like uncommons are actually craftable after this event. They sure as hell better be, because that's a bit dirty if it isn't. But yeah, let's go for another game. Okay, we're in, and what does this thing do? It draws me a card. I like drawing cards. We've also got the early Dreadhorde Invasion as well, see if we can grow that to a 6/6. That would be pretty sweet. Creator Maker, 2 damage to a creature, could be pretty good. We are up against, where's the View the Battlefield button? Yeah, well, we are up against Chulane, who does require a fair bit of mana dorking to get where they need to go. So hopefully Creator Maker killing a mana dork is going to work out for us. But yeah, I like this hand. It's not too bad. Leads off with the Hallowed Fountain. We'll lead off with the Golgari Guildgate. But yeah, I'm just curious to see if my opponent has any more luck than I did. There's a Pixie. Because I had no luck when I was playing this deck. Could not seem to catch a break. I think I'm going to go with the Creator Maker over the Dreadhorde Invasion. Then again, actually, if I'm on 3 mana, I can just cast this and activate it in the same turn. So I might as well get the invasion done first. Could do the card draw with Golden Egg, but I don't think that's correct. Yeah, let's just get the invasion going. 4 mana in total now with the Mana Leaf Pixie. We want to keep them off that 5 mana, so Creator Maker's coming down. And I am going to cut them off of the Pixie mana. They do have Frilled Mystic. Yep, I was just about to say, Frilled Mystic is a card that will destroy me if I'm not careful. Better to get it out now then, I guess, though. It's not really true, because Chulane bouncing Frilled Mystic is disgusting. Taste of Death. Each player sacrifices 3 creatures. You create 3 food tokens. That could be relevant. I'm definitely going to be swinging in, I think, as well. Depending on if I draw a decent blocker, I guess. Yeah. Can't take that damage for too long. Rugged Highlands. I did not draw a decent creature. Well, I think it's Golden Egg. Golden Egg and Highlands, then. This gives me something to sacrifice to Corvold when he comes down the turn after. So let's play the Golden Egg first. We want additional information. Because maybe we want to make a 2-drop play here. Pollen Bright. Not particularly. I guess it's not even a good blocker for Frilled Mystic. I guess chump block, I guess. Yeah, I guess since I've got my tap lands, and I've got my untapped lands to make sure Corvold comes down on time regardless, I might as well just play Pollen Bright and proliferate on my Dreadhorde token. The sooner it gets back up to 6, the better, I suppose. My opponent's deck does have bounce shenanigans. So I've got to worry a little bit about that. Here comes Chulane. And Arcane Signet. So I've got to be very careful. My opponent does not set up a situation where they get to bounce Frilled Mystic over and over again. Which is definitely a possibility. So let's go with the Swamp. And let's go Corvold. So I think we'll sacrifice the Pollenbright Druid purely for the fact that Taste of Death is going to be sacrificing 3 creatures anyway, and I'm not really going to be able to stop this from being basically just a board wipe. Then again, I could do the Judith. The Judith does allow me to get an extra point off of the sacrifices, so... You know what? Has this done everything I want it to do? I think it has. So sacrifice that, draw a card, get a Plague Crafter. Okay, let's get him for 4. And now we got some decent attackers. Opponent does need to answer Corvold pretty quickly. And answer it they have. Yep. You will go to the command zone, my friend. And we hope that we draw an untapped land now. So that we can Taste of Death at the very least. Otherwise, it's just like a Judith setup, I think. It sucks as well, because my Dreadhorde token being a 5/5 is really nice. It's really nice. But yeah, we did get the Taste of Death mana. Let's swing in with our Dreadhorde token, trying not to be very obvious, but I'm going to lose it anyway. So maybe they just chump with like a Mana Leaf Pixie or something like that. Or is it Maraleaf? It's Maraleaf, not Mana Leaf. They just take it, which is it's pretty cool. I dig that. I respect that. Could do Plague Crafter, but I don't really want them bouncing anything anymore, so I'm going to have to make them do a difficult decision here. Go for the Taste of Death, sacrifice 3 creatures. I imagine they'll keep the Chulane around, but if that means I get rid of Thorn Mammoth and Frilled Mystic, I'm pretty happy with that. Ah, keeping Thorn Mammoth. Okay. It's a shame these aren't treasures, because then I would have Plague Crafted you and it would have been a fantastic turn. As it stands, Chulane is back. And he means business. I have a 1/1. And the willingness to use it. So it's just Judith Plague Crafter. Play Rugged Highlands, pass. We'll get rid of my Zombie Army token. So that gives me 6 power to block Thorn Mammoth, and I'm happy to do that. Let's make sure I'm at 7 so I don't die to it just coming on through if they manage to bounce both of my creatures. It's not looking very good though. Not looking good at all. I can sacrifice a food token to Corvold when he comes down, but he's only going to be a 5/5. So yeah. Thorn Mammoth fights whatever it feels like fighting. And we in trouble. Fights Judith. Alright, well, gonna ping the Thorn Mammoth, so if they want to get in, they are gonna have to trade. So now Thorn Mammoth fights, Thorn Mammoth dies. If they attack. Temple of Malady. Can't pay the 2 life on Blood-Soaked Altar. So let's scry first with Temple. Definitely don't want the Evolving Wilds. Play Corvold. And at this point, I think it's sacrifice Dreadhorde Invasion again. I just don't really have the life total to get to 6 power there. We just get a Bloodfell Caves. Yeah, I think this game's well and truly over. They play literally anything, they fight my Corvold, they've got the trample damage to get through. Yeah, womp womp. Envy's Foreigners. Insult to injury, more like. Out of the way, Corvold. You can go in the graveyard now, buddy. Sleep well. My useless friend. Block, block. Everything's got trample. I get super murdered. Minus 17. We just could not get into it at all. Well played, opponent. Well played. Alright, we're in 3 colours of mana, so that's pretty good, but a pretty expensive hand, obviously. I guess I can take this. Temple of Malady can get me something decent, maybe. So, yeah, let's just play Temple. Angrath is awful. Don't like you. Opponent is playing Alayla, Artful Provocateur. So, artifacts and enchantments matter. I want to get down this as soon as possible, but I guess we might as well do the Oz of Enforcer first. Shock ourselves if we need to. This just gets more pressure on the board early, which I think is quite important. Yeah, let's do it. Savvy Hunter. I want to make as many food tokens as possible so that Corvold has something to actually sacrifice when the time comes. Could have made an argument for Paradise Druid as well. If we draw a land, we could play Corvold. But Bag of Holding goes, and Plains goes right under it. Alrighty then. Looks like they might be... Well, they can't be stuck on mana, because they would have never stuck a Plains under it. Yeah. So, I'm just playing a little bit slowly. Prison Realm. Rude. Goodbye, Savvy Hunter. It was fun while it lasted. Which wasn't very long. Not very long at all. Alright, we got Plaguecrafter. That's awful. Let's play Paradise Druid. And swing for 1. Yeah, we're not in a good spot right now. Opponents are going to have their commander in no time at all. I am not, unless I draw an untapped land next turn. This deck is full of tapped lands, as are all the starter decks. Hey! Well, that was good, wasn't it? Alright, so what we want to do is we want to swing in with the Oz of Enforcer first, because that's going to be our sacrifice target. And this has Afterlife, which means when we sacrifice it, we actually get a spirit token, which again, we can use to sacrifice to Corvold if the time comes. Opponent putting Safar under Bag of Holding. And we get Enforcing. Draw a card, please. Swamp, okay. Swamp gives me more stuff to do, I suppose. Whenever another creature controlled dies, this deals 1 damage to each opponent, you gain 1 life. Our opponent with the Conclave Tribunal, we are going to put it into exile, because I'm just going to Thrashing Brontodon. So I don't really want the cost reduction there. Alright, so play the Swamp. We're going to get in for 3. Play Bronte. And get Corvold back. We'll do it later, I guess. We don't have to do it right now. Yeah, let's just pass the turn and do it on their end step. Here comes Alayla. And we have the Plaguecrafter for that. Now we don't. Scrabbling Claws. Makes me exile cards from my graveyard if they want to. It's fine. I think Fine Finality is literally like the only thing that we can do on that one. Alright, so get back Corvold. We will sacrifice a spirit. I want to keep my mana at this early stage until I can justify keeping some more stuff. Ooh. Bake into a Pie is very nice. We get to create a food token which we can sacrifice to Corvold. We can then play a Mountain, Plaguecrafter away the token, draw some more cards. Yeah, let's do that. This allows me to start attacking in as well. So we play the Mountain, we Plaguecrafter. We'll get rid of the Paradise Druid here. I don't see it being as useful as a 3-2. up to a 6-6, and then to a 7-7 while cracking the food token on the attack step. Pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Our opponent sees the writing on the wall, sees how expensive their commander is, and their hand clearly not able to justify playing on any further. So that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was a pretty fun deck. I think it was maybe a little bit harder to enable than it could be. I can see a fair few changes that I would make to this deck to maybe make it a little bit more efficient, but this is a Brawl starter after all. It's not meant to be terribly competitive, though I imagine you can do something pretty sick with Corvold nonetheless, especially in like Historic Brawl. Historic Brawl has Scapeshift, if that's a thing. Scapeshift, sacrifice all your lands, draw all the cards, +X, where X is the number of lands you just lost. It's pretty sweet. Next episode, we'll be going into see what the Fairy Schemes deck is all about. It seems to be the most played deck after all, so you know we'll find out why. It looks pretty sweet. Looks like a lot of fun. It's probably not my favorite deck, but that Workshop Elders was pretty sick. And yeah, the deck in general has been around for a while, been doing some stuff. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy today's episode, then be sure to hit that like button to get notifications. When we go live in the future, you want to hit that little bell icon. Subscribe for some more Brawl content. It's going to be a staple on this channel. I'm going to enjoy building around many of the legends for quite some time. So hopefully you guys enjoy Brawl content, because it's coming. It's coming. And this format's sweet. I enjoyed it. Alright guys, see you next time.